Hi, good day sir. I'm Gerald Ardotolio. I'm here in front of you to tackle the topics in Chapter 3, Lesson 1, which is Learning to be a Better Learner. But first, let's talk about Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens, or the wise man. We think in a more complex level than our ancestors, and most, if not all, of the other beings. Not only do we think, we are also capable to think about thinking, like how we think of things and why we think in a certain way about things. It is like your brain thinks about itself and thinks about how it thinks about itself. In the context of learning, study shows that when you are able to think about how you think, how you process information, and how you utilize techniques while you are studying, you have a higher chance of improving your learning process than those who do not reflect on their methods. Metacognition. The idea mentioned above falls under the concept of metacognition. Metacognition is commonly defined as thinking about thinking. It is the awareness of the scope and limitations of your current knowledge and skills. Due to this awareness, metacognition enables a person to adapt their existing knowledge and skills in order to approach a learning task seeking for the optimum result of the learning experience. Metacognition is also not limited to the thinking process of the individual. It also includes keeping one's emotions and motivations while learning in check. Some people learn better when they like the subject, some when they are challenged with the topic, while others if they have a reward system each time they finish a task. The emotional state and motivation of a person then should also be in preferred ideal state for that person to learn more effectively. As seen from the above-mentioned definitions, metacognition has two aspects: self-appraisal and self-management. 1. Self-appraisal is your personal reflection on your knowledge and capabilities, while self-management is the mental process that you employ using what you have in planning and adapting to successfully learn or accomplish a certain task. Similar concepts usually called elements of metacognition are metacognitive knowledge, or what you know about how you think, and metacognition regulation, or how you adjust your thinking process to help you learn better. Under metacognitive knowledge are several variables that affect how you know or assess yourself as a thinker. First is personal variable, that is your evaluation of your strengths and weaknesses in learning. Second is the task variable, that is what you know or what you think about the nature of the task, as well as what strategies the task requires. Lastly, the strategy variable refers to what strategies or skills you already have in dealing with certain tasks. However, it must be noted that in order to make a self-appraisal and self-management work, you must have an accurate self-assessment capable of in order to find ways to utilize your strengths and improve on your weaknesses. Here are the list of 5 skills that might help you with exercising metacognition. 1. Knowing your limits. As mentioned earlier, one cannot really make any significant advancements in using metacognitive skills without having an honest and accurate evaluation of what you know and what you do not know. Knowing your limits also looks the scope and limitations of your resources so that you can work with what you have at that moment and look for ways to cope with the other necessities. 2. Modifying your approach. It begins with the recognition that your strategy is not appropriate with the task and or that you are not comprehending the learning experiences successfully. Recognizing, for example, that you are not understanding what you are reading, then you should also learn to modify your strategy in comprehending your material. You might want to read and reread a page for 5 minutes intervals instead of trying to finish the material in one sitting. You may want to make a summary or code for yourself instead of using keywords or highlighting sections of what you are reading. 3. Skimming. This is basically browsing over a material and keeping an eye on keywords, phrases, or sentences. It is also knowing where to search for such key terms. For example, you might want to look at the introduction first, or the abstract. The table of contents can also provide you with a quick guide to the contents of the book. Introductory paragraphs, headings or subheadings, and conclusions can also provide you with other overview of the whole material. 4. Rehearsing. This is not just repeatedly talking, writing, and or doing what you have learned, but also trying to make a personal interpretation or summary of the learning experience. One of the fun ways to do this is by imagining yourself being interviewed about your task. And as you try to convey what you have learned from the resources, you will also insert your opinions or other personal take on the matter. Just be sure that the key concepts are well understood and are still in line with the source material even with multiple rehearsals. 5. Self-test. As the name implies, this is trying to test your comprehension of learning experience or the skills you have acquired during learning. While some materials already come with a test like this book, you can still create tests for yourself. You must process them, learn every lesson that you can take about yourself, about the topic, and the other people or things. By having a more positive attitude toward mistakes, you will also have the courage or to venture into new and unknown learnings experience that may one day interest you.
Do you know yourself? Do you know what kind of learner are you? So hi guys, I'm Decadet Levanzolita and I'm here to discuss the 4 types of metacognitive learners. There are 4 types of metacognitive learners according to Perkins 1992 in Cambridge International Examinations 2015. First, the tacit learners. Second, the aware learners. Third, the strategic learners. And lastly, the reflective learners. Alright, so first, tacit learners. Tacit learners who are unaware of their metacognitive process although they know the extent of their knowledge. There are people or learners who are silent when it comes to something. They are speechless, but they know the extent of their knowledge, means understood without being openly expressed, or silent but saying nothing, unvoiced or unspoken like a prayer. An example of tacit learner is a boy who has his father's approval to do something even though they have never talked about it. Second is aware learners. Aware learners who are aware of some of their metacognitive strategies but use techniques that are not always planned. Learners who is aware when it comes to things but they don't plan it or they don't know how to use it or implement it. They do not think about particular strategies for learning and merely accept if they know something or not. Aware learners know about of the kinds of things that they do, such as generating ideas, finding evidence, and etc. However, thinking is not necessarily deliberated or planned. An example of aware learners is if you have something to do but you do not plan it, or suddenly have something enters into your mind but you don't know how to do it, or if how to start. Next is strategic learners, as the name implies, who strategize and plan their course of action towards a learning experience. You are called strategic learner if you are resourceful and plan the action you are doing as if they are the people who are concerned with their achievement in life. They always have determination in their actions. Strategic learners is defined as using evaluation to help the organization or group learn quickly from their work so they can learn from the adapt their strategies. An example of strategic learner for that are those grade conscious or honor students. And lastly, the reflective learners. Reflective learners who reflect on their thinking while they are using the strategies and will adapt their metacognitive skills depending on the situation. Being reflective learner is being conscious of the things you learn, practice, or remember. This can help you become productive or active learner by asking questions and understanding ideas in a deep and meaningful way. Reflective learners is a form of education in which the students reflects upon their learning experiences. An example of reflective learner is focused on how to create classroom ethos where children are proactive in reflecting on their learning and responding to feedback in order to move their learning forwards. So those are the 4 types of metacognitive learners. Thank you and have a nice day.